Coming up at 11, white smoke emerged from the Sistine Chapel as 133 cardinals elected the first ever American-born pope.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening. I'm Caroline Mueller. We saw a downpour of hail here in Hazard earlier this evening, and several other counties also experienced it. So let's go ahead and check in with First Alert meteorologist Eric Dean for the latest. Eric.
Yeah, we had a good dumping of hail here at the TV station. I can attest to that. I got hit right here with a hailstone. Take a look. Caroline, I think you got that on tape too. Take a look here at some of the storm reports over the past several hours. We have that hail report, quarter-size hail in the Hazard area. Several social media pictures being sent in there. We had some wind damage near the Boone Heights area. This snapped a telephone pole near the, looks like 1900 block of Kentucky 225. This was relayed from ham radio operators. This was at 6:16 p.m. Wind damage over towards the Fort Gay area. One tree down on Fort Gay Road. That is in Wayne County, West Virginia. This was at 7:05. This evening. Now we're in the clear. There's some good news. Severe thunderstorm watch is now expired. We're seeing a few little renegade showers on live pinpoint Doppler radar. Temperatures right now in the 50s and 60s. We're at 57 in Hazard, 60 in Jackson, 63 in Booneville, 60 in London. Somerset, good evening to you. You're at 63 degrees. As we help you plan your overnight hours, all is quiet. Thank goodness. We'll see cloudy skies as we go throughout the overnight hours and to start your Friday. But then by the noon hour, look at that. Mostly sunny skies. When you wake up in the morning, temperatures in the upper 40s and low 50s will greet you. But how is this Mother's Day going to look? Will your mom need the raincoat or the sunglasses? Details of the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Caroline.
Eric, thank you. That hail was going crazy. Eric was a true weather person running outside, of course. But just over 2 weeks after the death of Pope Francis, a new pope, Leo XIV, has been chosen to head the Roman Catholic Church. Around the world, the choice of an American brought jubilation and, for some, an element of surprise. CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn reports from the Vatican.
About an hour after white smoke rose from the Sistine Chapel, the world met Pope Leo XIV for the first time. In that instant, Cardinal Robert Prevost became the first pontiff from the U.S. in the Catholic Church's close to 2,000-year history.
I hope he's able to pull the whole world together.
La pace sia con tutti voi.
The first words Pope Leo spoke to the jubilant crowd at St. Peter's Square were "Peace be with all you."
And when I looked at his face, I really have a good feeling. Even the first time I saw his face.
Leo is the first American, but the 267th Pope to lead the Roman Catholic Church, and he was chosen on day 2 of the conclave here at the Vatican. Leo is seen as a progressive on many social issues. Overall, he is viewed as a centrist. Like Pope Francis, Pope Leo has spent time embracing marginalized groups like the poor. He has dual citizenship between the U.S. and Peru, where he served for years.
He brings really a universality to his life experience, to his ministry, which I think will be keen to helping him reach out to all people.
The 69-year-old Pope was born in Chicago. He went to Villanova in Pennsylvania, an Augustinian Catholic university where he studied math.
Everyone's just kind of greeting each other, smiling, so we're very happy.
In 2023, Pope Francis elevated his future successor to cardinal. Now he is the leader of the world's 1.4 billion Roman Catholics. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, the Vatican.
133 cardinals took part in the secretive voting process with no contact with the outside world. Their votes will not be revealed. Catholics across the world and here in Kentucky are celebrating the announcement of Pope Leo XIV as the new leader of the church. And those who work with the most vulnerable populations say they feel hopeful that his social teachings align closely with theirs. WKYT's Grayson Passmore has more from those with the Catholic Action Center.
This excitement of a new pope can be felt around the world, including in Lexington, Kentucky.
Choosing the name Leo XIV says to me, and probably to Catholics all around the world, that he'll be walking in the footsteps of Leo XIII, who had so much to say about the dignity of the worker, the dignity of the human being, and the idea that, in fact, we are responsible for our brothers and sisters on this earth.
As a volunteer chaplain with the Catholic Action Center, Laura Babbage says she's energized by the social teachings Pope Leo XIV shares.
We trust and pray that with the wisdom of the cardinals who elected him, that he will continue to walk in the footsteps of those who have gone before him, who believe that we do have a responsibility to care for those who are poor, who are vulnerable, for those who need us.
Director Jenny Ramsey says she was in the middle of a street council meeting when the news broke, and the energy in the room immediately shifted.
This Pope is saying it does matter how we live during the week. You know, we take our faith to the streets. We take our faith to wherever it's needed, that all people count.
Ramsey hopes the new young Pope can inspire not just Catholics, but people of all faiths.
That voice does make a difference, the voice from the Pope. Energizes people, energizes them to look at their faith, energizes them to be the people that we are called to be.
In Lexington, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
We're also hearing from Governor Andy Beshear on today's Pope announcement. In a statement to social media this afternoon, the governor says, quote, "We pray for the Pope Leo XIV as he begins this journey. Now more than ever, we need humility, love, and compassion," end quote. Police continue to investigate a shooting that happened in Knox County. We understand the shooting happened this afternoon in the Stinking Creek area. We are told one person was shot in their lower extremities and were flown out to UK hospital. Deputies with the sheriff's office say the suspect has not been caught. An Eastern Kentucky man was indicted in connection with the death of a 17-month-old. Harvey Gallahan was indicted by a Bell County grand jury in connection with the death of Elena Hembry. He was indicted on 1 count of murder and 3 counts of criminal abuse. The indictment says Gallahan committed the offenses between July 4th and 30th of 2023. A social media trend is creating issues for schools across the U.S., including here in the Commonwealth. The challenge encourages students to try and shore out their school-issued Chromebooks by putting conductive materials like paper clips, push pins, or foil into the device's ports. Throughout Kentucky, district leaders say they've seen the trend in several counties, one in our coverage area being Perry County. Officials across districts are encouraging parents to speak to their children about the dangers of this trend and not damaging school property. As we told you last week, the CDC reported a decline in overdose deaths throughout the country last year. In Kentucky, there was a 27.5% decline in overdose deaths, which was more than the 26.5% decline from the entire country. Representative Hal Rogers says he is proud that the Commonwealth has seen a decline in overdose deaths.
This is an insidious disease, drug addiction, and it's causing untold misery for families, for parents, schools, works, and so forth.
Rogers was recently at the 2025 RX and Illicit Drug Summit, where he shared the news from the CDC. With Real ID enforcement now in place, organizations around the country are hoping more people will take the time to sign up to save a life when they get to the DMV. They say it's a good time to fill out the paperwork to become an organ donor. Health leaders say more than 100,000 people on the national transplant list are waiting for an organ. More than 90% of organ donor registrations come through the DMV. In Northern California, leaders with Sierra Donor Services say they secured 425 transplants from 170 deceased donor heroes last year.
For everybody waiting in line at the DMV, you might be a little tired, you might be a little frustrated, but you can do some really good work and make a plan to one day save up to 8 people's lives.
If you already have your Real ID, you can still register to become an organ donor. Just visit donatelife.net to learn more. Tonight, a Southern Kentucky community is grieving the loss of a well-known young man. 19-year-old Ty Hamlin died Tuesday at St. Joseph Hospital in London after a motorcycle crash in Whitley County. Hamlin played football for Whitley County High School. His former coach, Matt Reimer, says Hamlin frequently came back to the school and showed a lot of leadership skills. He tells us Hamlin was a leader on and off the field.
I think kids looked up to him. I think teammates wanted to be around him. I think adults admired his you know, his work ethic, his dependability. He's the toughest individual I think I've ever met. And so I think he would be proud to be known as that.
Visitation for Ty will be tomorrow from 5 to 9 p.m. at the Whitley Middle School gym. The funeral will be Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Ellison Funeral Home Chapel.